Party rep for Longford. You okay? Sorry it was starting a little bit late now, but I suppose it's time is still okay. I'll just do the brief introduction and just go through the program for the day, and then we can just start off. First, I just want to let you know that the restroom, the toilets, one is down this way and another one at the very end there. So if you just need to use the toilet, and that's the exits. If there's a fire or anything, that's the emergency exit there as well. So thank you all. As I said, my name is Cathering. I am the Green Party rep for Longford, and I also founded a migrant community group here in Longford. This hall actually is where we usually do most of our activities, and I have a little office here in this building where I look after migrants and try to support them as best as I can. My political journey started just a few years ago when I just saw the need to bring the kind of change that I want to see in the world. I wanted to be able to be on the table to make that happen, and just being able to make that decision and being able to effect change instead of just going around or complaining about things. And so the image of Longford as a forgotten town is one of the things that I also want to really change. And I feel that Longford has so much beautiful environment and so much assets that we can leverage on, and that we can do away with the forgotten town image to a town that is thriving economically, that is very beautiful and attractive for businesses to come in and for tourists to come in, and all of those kind of innovative ways that we can really move forward to build a new Longford. And so today I want to thank the Longford Green Party members. She is my backrock and been so supportive and helping me put all of this together today. Lena, thank you so much, and for all the other Green Party teams that have been very supportive. I also want to thank Councillor Peggy, who is the mother of Longford. She's here today. Peggy is the mother of Longford. I invited because the last minute invitation, but thank you so much for being here. A special thank you to the Minister, Minister Paper, for being here today as well. She has been so supportive of my little green movement in Longford, and today I will put all of this together today so that Longford people can benefit from the information that people will receive in terms of the grants that are valuable for small farmers, organic farmers, and also other grants that are valuable for people to get renewable energy and benefit from it. And I'm so grateful to the Minister for being here to support me, and also to be able to give that valuable information to the people of Longford. I think that it is all our duty as people in Longford to really do our best to create a safe environment for people, for businesses to thrive, and also to work together as much as we can to move Longford forward and learn from what other people are doing in all the different counties. And that's the reason that I've invited some speakers from different places. Leslie from Leitrim, Aaron, and we have some youth from the European from Europe who are actually Erasmus students. Thank you so much for being here. The media and Polish community, thank you so much for coming here today to support us and to record this event. I'm really grateful. And to Ben is here from Kenny, and so many other experts are here today. IBI Center here in Longford, really promoting sustainable recycling and trying to make our environment environmentally friendly for all of us. And these are very wonderful initiatives that are happening around us here in Longford. And I want us to look at how we can be part of it and look at what other people are doing in other counties so that we can learn together and we can take advantage of the money that the government is putting out for people to apply for grants. We need to take advantage. We need to go for them. We need to put solar panel in all the community centers in Longford. But we really need to get farmers. We need to support farmers with the money that they need to farm in a sustainable way as well. So I'm so grateful for all of you for being here today. And I just hope that you will enjoy and benefit from all the things that we have seen today. So thank you so much for being here. And finally, I would also like to ask for your support because I'm a candidate for the Green Party in Longford. And I would like your support, to put your support behind me so that we can together make Longford not only economically thriving, but also a very sustainable environment for everyone to enjoy. And the next person that I will call the Minister next to open the event because it's not open yet. I was just doing an introduction. Yeah, but Councillor Craig is going to go unconscious of that, so I'll just give her a word and then the Minister can open the event. Thank you.
Well, there's nothing like being asked to do something at the last minute. So I just want to say thank you very much, Catherine, and I wish you every success in your campaign to get elected to Longford County Council. And it's lovely to be called the mother of Longford. I'm in big trouble when they start calling me the grandmother of Longford. But anyway, it is a privilege to be a councillor. I have to say that my council colleagues, we work across the chamber when it comes to issues that affects the lives of the people we represent. Politics is left outside the chamber. It's a very unique council in Longford, whereby we work for the betterment of the people that elected us. So I can assure you that the elected members are not allowing Longford to be left on the back foot. We have the ethos in Longford County Council. We follow the money, and I can assure you that just off the top of my head, just one ministerial department has spent 30 million in Longford in the past 12 months, and that's no small achievement for a small county like Longford. That's just one department. I want to welcome the environmental team here today: Bernard Shea, Gary Brady, and Linda Byrne. Linda gave us a presentation at Wednesday's County Council meeting, and I want to thank you again for the depth and breadth of what you told us. And at the minute, there is €328,000 available to community groups if you submit a plan with an environmental agenda, and it will be adjudicated on the Longford County Council, and that monies will be distributed for environmental groups to provide environmental issues that will impact on the lives of people in this county. I think that's excellent. So not one penny of that money will go back to the department, because Linda and the team will ensure that groups will be supported to draw down all of that money. So I have to tell you, we've been designated carbon neutral town. We are working flat out to attain that goal in 2030. If you see all the roadworks and all the walkways and all the environmental issues that are being worked on at the minute, it's a very, very friendly town for cyclists. We have so many wonderful walkways. We have so many wonderful projects going on at the minute. I am heartened by the team that I work with. So as far as I'm concerned, politics is one thing. Yes, I'm from Gale. I work tirelessly with my Fianna Fáil counterparts. It would be lovely to have a Green member on the council. But I would like you to go out loud and clear from this meeting. All of us, it behoves all of us to do our part with regards our carbon footprint. And I can tell you, I have never worked with a team that give 100%. They go over and above, and that's the three people I've mentioned. The team that they engage with in the council. There's nothing they want. There's no door that is closed to them. So I can tell you, you can go from here today, that Longford County Council know the value of our environment, know the value of everything you're talking about, Catherine. So you're pushing an open door. So I want to tell you, we in Longford County Council know that we have to get our carbon footprint under control, and it's been worked on 24/7. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Just invite the minister to open the event. Thank you. Thank you very much, Catherine. And look, it's wonderful to follow what Peggy has just said. And I know that we have, I think we've got about 45 councillors across the country, Green Party councillors. And I know in every one of those councils where there's a Green Party member, a lot of councils there are none, on many there is just one. But I know what that does to a council, that one voice, maybe out of 19 or 20 or 21, it does inject that bit of excitement and passion and positivity about environmental action and the need to bring that to the council level and beyond. And I also know, being the smallest coalition party in government and similar in councils as well, that you have to work collaboratively. Politics is all about collaboration, it's all about compromise, it's give and take, but ultimately, I think we, especially the Green Party, understand that. I mean, we understand that, in order for us to achieve the things we want to achieve, that has to be done in a collaborative and cohesive manner. And I know that Cathering will bring that collaboration and cohesion to Longford County Council. And certainly we are all here, myself and my colleagues, to support Cathering in that venture. And she's really hit the ground running already. It's my second time to Longford this year, but certainly following you on social media and seeing the work you do and the activity you involve yourself in, well done, and just keep that up. It's brilliant to see. Thank you. I do want to acknowledge my other party colleagues here. There's Councillor Hazel Smith from USE, and we also have Leslie O'Hora from South Leitrim, and my own colleague from my own party of the Woods in County Offaly, Katerina Ravina, who's going to be running in the Burr local area. So look, thank you for all coming out here as well to support Catherine's campaign. And just really, I suppose, there's an exciting programme ahead. There's a lot of information that you're going to hear, and there's a lot of information around the edges for sure as well. And there's a lot happening here already in Longford. It's great to see the proactivity that exists there in communities, in enterprise, in business itself. And there is a lot of work done, as they say, but still there is a lot more we can be doing, and that's why you really do need to have your local county council, full scale behind what's happening. And it is great to have the climate and environment team from Longford County Council here. And Peggy also spoke of that need. The Community Climate Action Programme is there, for communities to engage in climate action. People sort of think climate action, oh God, it's going to cost us a fortune, how we want to do this, it's going to change my life. It will change your life, but it will ultimately change your life for the better. And yesterday, people will be aware that the government announced the first phase of the rollout of free, I say it again, free solar panels for every school in the country. That's going to transform communities, transform schools, transform attitudes as well. And that's going to be rolling out really, really quickly, really soon. And that's a big step, a big visual step as well, and right where we need it, in young people's communities, for young people, the generations of the future, to see how this works. That's one very big, obvious action that's going to be rolled out. And we've already zero-vatted solar panels, while we're talking about solar, and there's information to come on that. We've also removed the need for planning permission for solar panels on roofs, so schools, communities, you name it. That's one example of how government is helping communities and local authorities to embrace climate action. There are many, many more across the board, and I'm just going to speak very briefly about two areas within my own ministerial responsibility, well maybe three briefly as well actually, organics, forestry and horticulture. So organics look at a big drive to deliver on that, and to be honest, farmers in Longford, many of them are ideally suited
to be organic farmers. I'm from County Offaly, you know, we've similar sort of landscape, similar type of farms, and there's a lot of opportunity there for dry stock farmers in particular to look at it, and we are getting a lot of interest, and I think that's something anyone in here, if you know any farmers, all you have to say is, have you checked it out, have you spoken with your advisor? It might not be for everyone, and I'm not saying it is, but certainly look at it, you know, if you have any farmer colleagues, get them to just have a chat with their advisor and see if their farm would suit. Secondly, forestry. Forestry is quite a big deal in Longford, in this part of the country. Good and bad, you know, we have some poor examples, but we also have some very productive and strong economic communities in Longford as well, built around the forestry sector. And we have great aims, and we do want to hit those aims in terms of increasing our afforestation, planting a bigger variety of trees, more spread out across the country, but we also have ambition in terms of decarbonising our built environment, our construction sector, the homes and buildings of the years ahead. And we need wood, we need timber to do that with, and timber comes from trees. And the timber we need comes from the faster growing, softer conifer-based trees. And while some of those have been a challenge in certain parts of the country, you know, Leitrim in particular, a lot of it comes down to the management of them rather than the tree species itself. So we are, you know, endeavouring to improve how we manage forestry plantations in the years and decades ahead. And we have put in, you know, huge sums of money there to encourage farmers, landowners to plant trees. And again, I would encourage any of you, if you know anyone who might be interested, to certainly engage with the programmes that exist. There's one particular one that is capturing a lot of imagination among farmers. It's the small-scale native woodland scheme, where farmers can plant up to 1 hectare, and up to 2 actually if they have a suitable waterway, without the need for a licence. Some of you may be familiar with the challenges around licensing in forestry. It's been a massive problem for me and a challenge for me in the last 3 years, but we have got it right. But this is an option. We don't even have to go through that onerous system. And there's very, you know, generous, lucrative tax-free payments for 10 years. There is also for the local authorities and for public land owners to plant native trees as well under the Forests and Public Land Scheme. That's something everyone should bring to their councillors and budding councillors and those alike. Have you any land that you'd like to plant some native trees on? The government's willing to pay for the planting, so just keep that in mind as well. And finally, I'll give a very brief word about horticulture. The horticulture sector, again, it's something we want to see growing in this country. We want to see people, you know, farmers growing and growers growing more of the food that we consume ourselves. It's a very challenging sector in the commercial side of things, but maybe a little more closer to home. There's a great desire now out there for people to engage in growing in urban areas and in towns, and to have access to somewhere to grow. So whether it's a community garden or an allotment, and we have recently launched a new horticulture strategy for the next, I think it's 2030. But in that, there is one of the actions is that local authorities will get more active in this area. So again, I would encourage everyone to engage with the local authorities and their councils to say, well, what can we get the council to do to help us either establish or support an existing community garden or allotment, because it is important, and that connection, people want to know more about their food, they want to engage more in growing food, and it's a wonderful opportunity again for young people as well to get involved. So I mean, I think they're, I suppose within my own area, the 3 main things I wanted to bring to this, but I know you've got a really exciting lineup of information. I think it's a very exciting time of change. I mean, maybe change is never, people shy away from change because change is a bit different from what we are doing things, but we know we've massive challenges ahead in terms of climate, in terms of biodiversity, in terms of water quality, all these things that we've taken for granted for so long. We cannot continue to take them for granted. They're just too important to our very essence, our very lives. And we know that now, and we know what to do. We don't have every single answer, but we know the direction of travel we do need to take. And I think it's people in this room who have those opportunities to drive that make those decisions. And I think really just to start where I finished, by electing a Green Party candidate to the Longford County Council is one move, and I want to wish you all the very best, Catherine, and just keep doing what you're doing. And I just actually would like to say one final thing personally, if you don't mind. What we saw in Dublin last night was horrific. It was something I don't think any of us imagined maybe seeing in Dublin or in any part of the country. And it is, there was absolutely no excuse for what happened in Dublin. I mean, it started off in a horrific way, it ended equally horrific, and I know that there is a horrible cohort of people out there now, and you know, the new Irish in Ireland now feel particularly vulnerable. I think we have to keep that very close to our hearts, that we are here to support and here to welcome and here to stand out that hateful behaviour, and just to say that, you know, you are welcome here, we're glad we have you, and just to everyone, just, you know, we're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. I'm grateful for all your support. Thank you, everyone. And the next thing that we'll be doing is upskilling and recycling companies and sustainable practices initiatives. They're going to be telling us about what the work that is doing. Idea Center is a recycling company here in Longford, and they'll be telling us about their work and how they've been, you know, recycling products and helping our environment to be, you know, environmentally friendly. So IBS Center and I wonder if Anders here is up next. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Minister. Good afternoon, councillors and other distinguished guests. Sorry to hold. Bear with me 1 second. Look, while we try and get the presentation going, maybe I'll just say a few words with no presentation. My name is Andrew McManus. I'm the manager of Revamp 3R store in the EDI Centre here in Longford. We are a furniture reuse and upcycling programme. Revamp originated as a training course. Training course in the EDI Centre in 2002. A year later, Revamp store opened as a way to sell the goods that the guys were fixing and upcycling. We're lucky enough to get funding from the community service programme through COVID, and as we've grown, we've also got funding from the local authority and Just Transition and other funds as well. So currently, Revamp is employing 20 employees. So some of the aims of Revamp is to reduce social isolation, develop skills in our trainees. The employed in the centre is coming through a labour activation scheme for the community services programme. As I said, currently we have 20 people employed in the centre. We offer upholstery, furniture restoration, woodwork, painting services. So the guys get on-the-job skills training, and obviously we promote the circular economy. We've been in the business of the circular economy for 20 years this year. The shop opened in 2003, and it's only now that the rest of society is catching up, I suppose. We also try to constantly innovate and keep up to date with the changes in society. 2023, we were lucky enough to have Minister Hackett come and launch a paint project where we collect water-based paint from civic community sites, and and we can bring them back and mix colours. So we're now upcycling furniture using recycled paint, so it's really about the whole circularity of everything. A couple of environmental stats. So in 2022, Revamp diverted about 55,000 kilos of waste from landfill. That would have been with 1,000 individual customers, and obviously it's hard to estimate the carbon savings on kilos of furniture diverted from landfill, but a conservative estimate would be about 29 tonnes of CO2 emissions saved. The National Waste Management Strategy looks for 10 kilos of reuse per person per year. Revamp currently is accounting for about half the population of Longford town in the reuse with 55,000 kilos. We have big plans for the future. We're hoping to become a centre of excellence for the promotion of circular economy in the Midlands and Western region. And we're working with the local authority to hopefully achieve this goal. We also have new training courses coming online in 2024. We have a white goods repair course which will be coming online, and we also have then a textile upcycling course which will be coming online. No, thanks very much. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, Andrea and from IJ Centre here in Longford. Wonderful organisation, and I got my table set from there as well. It's so beautiful. They always recycle products, and you can just go and buy from them. And thank you. And the next that we have is that it's time to network and just have a break, a tea break, have something to have tea and just go around and refresh before we come back again with the solar panel and grant section. So if you just go around, just have tea and just have something to eat, and then we can come back again for the grant section and the solar panel and grant section. Thank you.
Okay. everybody, we're going to take our places again for the next session. If everybody could just take a seat, please. We're about to start the next session. Okay, thank you very much. My name is Rochella. I'm a member of the Longford Police Greens based in Mullingar. I missed the first session. I'm sorry to say I just rolled up the train there and I asked Catherine if you needed help with anything and she said yes, you can do this. That's certainly right for offering. But anyway, I'm really pleased to be here and congratulations to Catherine and to the Longford Greens for putting on such an impressive event. Next up, I'm just going to get straight on with it. Next up, if everybody is ready, we have Leslie O'Hora from New Horizons. Thank you, Leslie. Sorry, did I get that wrong, Leslie?
So the name is Leslie O'Hora. I'm several hats here in relation to this meeting. I'm director of Good Energy Alliance. So you see the Erasmus Plus volunteers down there from Italy, from Germany, from Turkey, and from France. So they can tell you all about what they do. You get a chance to call them later. I'm also a solar surveyor and I've worked in the solar industry for 8 years, and I'm the Green Party candidate for South Leitrim, Carrigan Shannon area. So I'm going to talk about solar, and I haven't given this presentation in about 18 months, but 18 months is a long time in the solar industry, but I'll endeavour to talk my way through it as well. So I was with a company called Activate for many years. They are the biggest in the solar industry. They would have typically about 52% of the market, and they are now part owned by SSE. And they're now moving into Scotland. They're an Irish company, but they're now moving into Scotland and to England. So they're a company in a hurry, so keep an eye on them, I suppose. So, solar. It's been around for a long time, as in the first solar panels, particularly PV, were basically invented around 1936. And it then started to get commercialized over that period of time. And obviously when traditional energy costs started to rise, then solar started to come into its own. And solar is divided basically into two parts, namely solar thermal, which is specifically for hot water, and solar PV, which is now for electricity, hot water, and all that sort of stuff. Solar thermal is, if you just advance the slide there, thank you. Thanks for that. I think it's slow. Yeah. So solar thermal was out first, was commercialized first, and typically came out in the early 90s, and is specifically for hot water. And go again with maybe we could just put it on and just talk. So solar thermal originally came out, is now about the same price as PV, which is for hot water as well. But it was a very, very good, solar system which was involved in providing it with hot water. And the great thing about it was that it operated or provided you with hot water for about 9 months of the year, and I'm talking about this area here, and would also give you warmish water in winter months. And so it was a very, very effective system. It worked on us having to change the cylinder to a solar cylinder in your hot press, and then it was filled with a closed loop system with ethylene glycol, which was basically antifreeze, which went between the panels and the solar tank. And then there was a tiny little controller that pumped the whole thing around. And basically it gave you a temperature of about 65 degrees and stopped at that because that's the temperature, obviously, from a microbiological point of view that you want to get to kill any nasty bugs in your shower or whatever. So, yeah, go back to one. Yeah, so that typically, just go back to one. Just go back one. One of the two times. Yeah, there we go. So you have the typical cylinder that you have in your hot press, which is the red and blue cylinder there. And typically we put in about 60 to 100 litres, depending on the size of the family. You then had the panels on the roof, which had the glycol. And then that went in a closed loop system through the panels into the solar tank in a coil, and then it went back up to the roof again. So that basically is solar thermal. It was much more invasive to install than a PV system, and typically it cost about €8,000 a year. This €8,000, sorry, to purchase. There's still a grant for it. The grant, you don't need to have any sort of PE or minimum qualification, and it's particularly good for small roofs because it only requires 2 or 3 panels as opposed to PV. So often installers, where they get a situation where they can't install PV because of the size of the roof, in other words, they can't install, 8, 10, 12 panels or more, they might suggest a thermal to you. But as I say, it just does the hot water itself, but quite effectively. So then we get to the PV, and PV has exploded, and typically because of grants that are around at the moment and all of the publicity that's attached to it, there are approximately 700 houses a week converting to solar PV throughout the country. So that's quite a significant number. PV basically is made of silicone little chips that are basically in the panel itself. They then get excited by light. You have a negative and a positive electrode, and that creates the electricity, which is then typically sent to an inverter, which sits in your attic or some such place. That converts it from AC to DC, and then it goes straight into your fuse box. And then there's one other addition to it, and that is that we then have an actual little black box, I call it, which again sits in your hot press about the size of a box of chocolates. And that effectively takes the energy from the roof and the inverter and goes straight into your hot press. And typically we use an immersion coil, and that immersion coil becomes a solar immersion coil. And again, it gives you temperature of water in the order of about 65 degrees. There are batteries with it, and batteries very much depend on lifestyle. So if you're a couple or you're a family, and you're gone out of the house all day, in daylight hours obviously, you are in a situation whereby all that you're producing during the course of the day goes straight back to the grid and is wasted, so to speak. You do get paid for it, but nevertheless, there's no electricity stored for the house. And there I would be suggesting that people actually get batteries to store the actual electricity which is generated by the panels. Conversely, if you're a couple and maybe you're retired and you're in and out of the house, or maybe you're working from home, and you can stick appliances on during the course of daylight hours, I would be saying to you, you don't need batteries. You can actually produce what you want during the course of the day and use the electricity, because we actually use very, very little electricity at night. And so from that point of view, if you're in and around the house during the course of the day, you can actually use the solar that's generated to power your house. If you have an EV or an electric car, you definitely need batteries. And you need them particularly if you're charging overnight. And so from that point of view, you literally fill up the battery during the course of the day, come home, the battery is full, and so you recharge your car at night. The typical house in Ireland uses about 4,500 units of electricity a year. 10 or 12 solar panels will give you the order of around 3,500 units. So you typically generate about 2/3 of what you require to run a house from a solar system. That can vary according to the direction of the house and the number of panels that you put on. Obviously south is best because that's where the biggest light comes from, and you will get literally 100% of what the panel manufacturers tell you you're going to get from a panel. If you're southeast or southwest, northeast or northwest, you'll get about 25% less. And if you're east-west, you get about half. And you can compensate that by actually getting more panels, but nevertheless, you need to be aware of your orientation. The grants for panels at the moment are typically €2,400. That grant is going to decrease come January the 1st by €300, and there's no grants for batteries, but batteries have come down from about €6,000 when I was involved first to about 4,000. So maybe we just run the slides through and see if there's anything else that I've forgotten in relation
It's
to
all been run through up here.
This is
the
okay.
same up here for you, so.
So yeah, there are fixed either to tiles or to slates, so there's all sorts of fixing things. And it's interesting to note, you may remember that terrible explosion in Rasnala, up in New York, where there were 10 people killed, whatever. The whole roof was blown off, but the one thing that didn't come off were the solar panels. And it's just an indication of the strength of the fixing that they have on solar panels at the moment. Okay. Keep going. So they won't blow off the wind, effectively. And they're even used on lighthouses and have been used on lighthouses for quite a number of years. Because the last thing that the Irish Lights Commissioners want is have to send people out to actually maintain them. So solar is actually used, they then feed the electricity produced during the course of the day on all Irish lighthouses into batteries, and those batteries leap into action at night. And the interesting thing is, because of advances in electricity and LED technology, you can actually power a lighthouse now on 400 watts. It's quite incredible. So all lighthouses in Ireland, which are in very extreme areas and locations, actually use solar. Yeah, there is a calculation that you can get involved in that was put together by SCAI and one or two other organizations. And basically you should be able to get the actual specific annual yield that your panels will give from this particular formula, which I'm happy to discuss with anybody after the presentation. But we can, depending on the orientation of the house, tell you exactly what your panels are going to produce. And there you have examples of community buildings now as well, which are used. To give you an idea, my local supermarket now has just gone solar in the last 3 months, Supervalue in Carrick and Shannon. And even in October, just last month, 30% of their power in the supermarket was generated by solar. And like October was a terrible month, there was an awful lot of cloud, an awful lot of rain. It's that time of the year, and nevertheless, that's what they were getting. I have a nursing home which is equally near me as well. They had absolutely no bills in summer for the nursing home for about 6 months of the year. So it just shows you that, you know, what this can actually achieve. So basically what we're saying is, if you are going for a solar system, try and get a company that has a track record, that has accreditation standards, and that's very important. That they do a technical survey for you on the house, that there's an installation team that includes electricians and roofers, and if they know how to handle grants and will hold their hand in going through the grants, that there is a warranty, and in the case of some companies they have a bond, and obviously referral schemes and that, and that they have good after installation service. I have to say there's very, very little service involved in photovoltaic panels. So that's basically my bullet point presentation as it relates to solar. I'm happy to take any questions or take them later. You have a question? Don't ask me about TAMs. Okay. All right. Yeah.
We have solar turbo on a turbine. It's a lot of people have to accept it, okay, that the electricity goes down, the people goes down. You can still have electricity, but it's not the case because really battery. Otherwise, you can't utilize the power of your solar panels if the electricity is gone.
So you have a turbine and you have solar panels?
Yeah, so just a comment there that a lot of people think that, okay, when you have solar panels installed, you'll be fine when the grid goes down and you still enjoy electricity, but it's not the case. That you really need to have batteries to be able to use that energy.
Sure. I mean, every installation is different. Every installation is different in terms of the orientation, but equally in terms of the consumption of energy, that you're using, the actual amount of energy that you're using, and obviously the climate as well. But you should be able to get 2/3, as a rule of thumb, you should be able to get 2/3 of your electricity from a solar installation. That's what you should be aiming for. Okay? And if you can't get 2/3, then you need to go back to the drawing board and look at something else.
Again, one also worries around the fact that in the event that the grid is out of the grid, and you do not have a battery off-grid system, you will not be able to benefit from your solar panel.
That's a moot question, and it depends on the electrician that you're using.
As you said, the key word is off-grid system.
Yeah.
We get a lot of inquiries from callways and the floods will end up no water and they have to specifically request an off-grid system.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be happy to talk to you afterwards as well. Okay, thank you. And thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leslie. That's a great introduction for great overview of different solar systems and how people, what they should be looking at in terms of talking to companies and how to get started. So thank you for that. And you're going to be here for a while if people want to come and talk to you also. We'll just take a second to Listen, apologies if the sound isn't coming through clearly. We're sort of making adjustments as we go. We're struggling with technology a bit, so hope you'll bear with us. So next up on the same topic, solar energy again, we have Aaron McKittrick and Aaron is from Green Energy Partners. Am I right, Aaron?
Hi then. So look, I'm adding on from what Leslie has said here on the subject of solar and I suppose energy in general. It's been a bit of a crazy couple of years for energy, so we thought this would be worth discussing with you. Our main bread and butter is the procurement of electricity on a commercial basis, so for homes and businesses. I'll start off by introducing the company and tell you a bit about what we do. So Green Energy Partners are a trusted ally in energy procurement. As a leading provider, we specialise in sourcing sustainable and cost-effective energy solutions tailored to meet the unique needs of a business or a farm in Ireland. Our team leverages extensive industry expertise to navigate the complex energy landscape, ensuring our clients benefit from optimal pricing, reliability and environmental sustainability. With a commitment to green initiatives, we focus on renewable energy sources, helping businesses transition to cleaner, more sustainable power options. By partnering with Green Energy Partners, businesses not only gain a strategic approach to energy procurement, but also contribute to a greener, more sustainable future. I hope you will all join us in shaping a cleaner, more cost-effective energy landscape for your business, your home, or your farm, and the environment. I would like to thank Cathering Joseph for the opportunity to present some information to you today, and also Leslie O'Gorth for the introduction. So this is a short PowerPoint to really let people know what it is we do, and as I've discussed with some of you today, we like to kind of put our money where our mouth is. There's a lot out there about green energy and, you know, is it going to cost us more, or what are we going to do, are we going to get a loan to get this and stuff like that. So what we do is, it's actually a free service that we offer to businesses, farms, homes, and it's basically, we act as a green consultant. So we can help you choose which solar provider to go with, we can help you choose which energy supplier to get your behind the meter power from in the first place. And I suppose one of the things that I'm forever trying to get across to people is that green energy does not have to be expensive energy. And we can actually give people green energy from point of supply at no cost to you whatsoever. So if you have nothing to invest in energy, it's still no excuse in not going green. So I'll start first of all by talking about the procurement services that we offer. We're an independent company, so we offer supplier analysis. A lot of people ask me, what is it? What is energy procurement? And my easiest way of explaining that to people is by unfortunately plugging another company, and that's bonkers. Everybody's heard of bonkers. You go on, you check your own home electricity, you see X, Y, or Z is the cheapest. Now in the past couple of years with the energy crisis, there's been very little deals on bonkers. We've had deals right way through. Now, what we do is we act as an intermediary between yourself and the supplier. And a lot of people have had bad experiences with energy suppliers. So do we a lot of the time. 90% of the time we're asking the supplier to do their own job properly. And that's why we have a career in this. So we mainly specialise in commercial electricity rates, commercial gas rates, LPG, bulk or cylinder rates, and the procurement of renewable energy technology. So I've no doubt a lot of you have been sitting there 5:30 at night, get in the door, and the next thing you get a knock on the door from somebody looking to sell solar or LED or, you know, something to do with renewable technology. And a lot of what we're seeing at the moment is potentially issues caused by one-man bands or not so credible companies. So what we do is we've got a long history of working in the energy procurement sector. I sold solar 15 years ago whenever the UK was going on the solar home rush, as they call it. And what we can do is we can help identify for you what the best system is that are being offered. Or we can bring one of our own credible solar companies to the table. So a lot of the time we see somebody getting a quote, but it might be my neighbour down the road got a quote from this fella. And all we're saying to somebody is, look, we offer a free service, you can put the quote in front of us, we'll have a look at it, and we'll tell you what's right, what's wrong, or where you should be looking for your solar. So as an independent company, we don't, you know, we're not choosing to have one solar company in particular that we're plugging. We prefer the end user, the customer, to get what's right for them. Because we know with our other end of the business, the procurement of electricity, But if we're doing right by you on renewable energy technology, you'll come back to us year after year. Now, procurement is very, very important for people that are considering going green, whether it's renewable technologies or whether it's wind farms or anything like that. I've seen a lot of time people go and invest. I've seen businesses invest €50,000 in an LED retrofit, and 6 months down the line they're scratching their head wondering why they're not seeing any savings. And the issue came from the supplier that they're with, not to do with the investment in the renewable technology. And it's a case that if you come out of contract with your electricity, your rates will go up by somewhere in the region of 35 to 50%, essentially taking away the investment that you've just put on your roof or replacing lights and anything like that. So it's very much a two-pronged attack on creating a sustainable and a cost-effective energy supply for yourself or for your business. So you can see there are some of the suppliers that we work with. So, renewable energy technologies, solar, PV, and water heating. Again, as Leslie's touched on, we have 3 or 4 main suppliers that we go to in the case that somebody comes to us and says, we want solar, and we don't have any quotes. Well, we know that there's a couple of companies out there that are large enough, credible enough, and are delivering on what they're promising people, so we can put you in touch with these things. So our main business is the procurement of electricity, but also the signposting to renewable energy technologies. So LED retrofits, as I was chatting to somebody here from the revamp place, they're after getting an LED retrofit done. LED would be one of the lowest hanging fruits that there is out there. Solar isn't the only thing that you can do to reduce cost and increase sustainability. LED is something that should be done everywhere. Again, a lot of the schools and stuff are being done. I think it was Pippa had mentioned about schools are now getting free solar. A lot of schools would have already had an LED done, and we're nearly getting back to the stage now where the LEDs need to be replaced again. So LED is always increasing the output and reducing the consumption. So it's something that should be looked at further. EV charging points. So again, we work with a number of providers around the place. And look, I tell you, if you take nothing else from today, if you're getting solar on your house, you should be asking your solar installer to put an EV charger in for free with it. Eventually, the idea is that the solar will be generating, it'll be hooked up to the EV charging point, you'll be charging your car, and instead of you having the battery in the house, your car will become the battery, and you'll be able to use the power from the car to power your house in the evening time when it's dark outside. So we offer signposts again in the upgraded, more efficient heating systems, whether it's going to LPG from oil, whether it's earth water, heat pumps, all the rest of it. We can point you in the right direction with these and give you some credible companies to have a chat with. We offer site and suitability surveys, so that's anything ranging from PERs, energy audits, there's grants available on them as well. We offer some advice on finance and grants. Look, to be honest with you, something that I'm always saying to people is if there was not one grant out there at the moment, it's still worth putting solar on your roof or LED. It matters not, at the end of the day, if you're saving €20 by spending 10, it's worth doing. You don't need somebody else to come and give you a $5 back. So again, like I say, we're independent, so we can give you advice on who's good and who's not good in that sector. Managed services. Now, one of the things that surprises me is that 4% of all electricity bills that are ever sent out are incorrect. And from dealing with suppliers over the years, I don't know why it surprises me, because there's a lot of issues with billing. I'm sure a lot of you have seen home electricity bills that come through the door 3 times higher than what they would normally be. This is something again that we offer as a free service to people. So if you get a bill that's a bit of a red herring, your bills are normally €200 for 2 months, and all of a sudden you get a €1,000 bill through the door from the farm, you're kind of scratching your head and wondering, well, what's going on here? So as first point of call, instead of bringing the supplier and the supplier saying to you, look, it'll sort itself out whenever ESB background, get on the phone ourselves, send us the bill, we can do a validation check for you to make sure that you're being charged what you should be being charged for. Again, and it's something that I'm speaking to the Green Party about, there's things out there on bills like Section 58 electricity tax. Somebody that's been promised green energy from their supplier should not be paying Section 58 electricity tax. But they're still seeing it, they're still seeing people being charged along bills. So there's a lot of different charges out there, there's a lot of different things that can happen with a quick conversation with a supplier, whereby you might be telling you half the unit rate, Whereas what we can do is spread a bit of light on that there and tell you what the whole cost to yourself is, and also what the carbon savings will be. Off subject slightly, the average business in Ireland is consuming 20,000 kilowatts of electricity. 20,000 kilowatts of electricity in May would have been equivalent to 4 tonnes of carbon. That's at 400 grams per kilowatt hour. Ireland was one of the most intensive countries in all of Europe for generation of electricity in May. And you'd be wondering why in May, you know, the sun's shining in May. We had a very not windy May and we don't have enough solar. Hence why, I remember a month later, I was away in Eastern Europe and I checked to see what it was costing them for a kilowatt hour, and it was costing 4 grams of carbon in comparison to the 400 grams that Ireland was generating. We offer property management services and landlords. You know, a lot of people might have tenants in and out and stuff like that. We can arrange switches for them. We offer home and domestic energy. So again, we can do a comparison for you. We can do bill validation. If anybody wants to get me to have a look at their bills after this here, they're more than welcome to. Take a card from the desk over there. You can send them on WhatsApp if you don't have time at the moment. Another thing that we're looking at the moment that we're seeing more and more of is KVA capacity review. And this is going to become something that everybody knows what it is. In 3 or 4 years' time, everybody might be looking at that going KVA, MIC, don't understand, don't get the abbreviation. So we all know that there's smart meters being fitted at the moment, and the average house has a maximum import capacity. So the most amount of electricity that you should be bringing into a domestic house is 12 kilowatts at any given stage. Now, if you have 2 power showers and a couple of teenagers, you're going to be over that. So the smart meters aren't just to alleviate pressure from the grid between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, they're also going to start measuring how much electricity you're bringing into your home. And if it's too much, you'll be charged as a commercial customer. So these are all things to do with the grid and the pressure on the grid. Now, obviously solar helps relieve the pressure on the grid, and so do the other renewable energy technologies. So I said before it was a 2-pronged approach, it's very much a multi-pronged approach. We offer industrial energy management. Some of the largest factories nationwide. We deal with anybody from a farmer with an electric fence right up to companies that make ventilators. We deal with Smith's Toys nationwide, Boylesport, a lot of multinational companies out there. So look, we've plenty of testimonials if you want to find out who we are. The last thing then is the feed-in tariff, and this is very important on the subject of solar. There's a massive difference out there from one supplier to the next as to what you're going to get back for the electricity that you're generating from your roof. So you might look at the likes of Gas would be offering people 18.5 cents on a feed-in tariff, which means every unit of electricity, every kilowatt that you generate, you're getting 18.5 cents. If you use Leslie's friends here, Activate, and you're with SSE, who they're part owners of, you're looking at in around 30 cents per kilowatt hour, double what Gas would be paying you. So again, this is something why, as an independent consultancy company, if somebody's getting solar on the roof, have a chat with us first and we'll let you know who your supplier should be. It's not just a case of throwing it on the roof for the best. So we offer a lot of business services. We offer business energy audits. We do commercial DEC. So we can do certificates of origin to say which wind farm the green energy that we're supplying is coming from. We can put people through ISO accreditation to ISO 50001. You might be supplying, I don't know, on your farms or whatever, the likes of Lidl, Aldi, Tesco are now looking for all of their suppliers to be entirely green from point of supply. That's something that we can do. And a lot of people out there might say, we're with Electric Ireland, we've been with them for 30 years. We're with Gas, we've been with them for 30 years. We don't want to change. But what we can do is we can then go to that supplier and ask them to allocate green energy from their renewable technologies and allocate it and give it to yourself so that you're meeting the ISO that the companies that you're supplying into are looking for. We offer advice on new connections, because a lot of people have issues with ESD, with our grid, it can cost tens of thousands getting new connections put in. So again, if anybody's in a position where they're looking at taking out old supply or putting in new supply, this is something that we can offer. Site works, and then we also do a bit of merchant services and telecommunications advice. So the reason why we choose Green Energy Partners, not only the fact we're local, we're based off the Park and Shannon now, but we deal with over 4,000 customers nationwide. We're an official SEAI project coordinator. We've also been accredited by the All Ireland Business Foundation, and that accreditation is in trust, performance, and customer centricity. I'd really like if everybody goes and has a look at our website, Green Energy Partners. Green Energy Partners is the new website at the moment there. You'll see from the sign over here that we're in the process of launching Energy Partners as its own procurement service standalone. The reason being that they're two different things altogether now, whereby green consulting is we're helping larger companies get shaped up in the ISO accreditation. So that's all for myself. Look, if anybody's considering any green energy projects, if they want to approach myself or Leslie, take a card if it's something that you think you might do in the future, we can offer a bit of intermediary advice on it. At worst case scenario, if you do nothing else, change your home electricity through green energy. It will cost you nothing. So again, thanks very much to Cathering and Leslie.
Thank you very much, Aaron. You know, the whole area of green energy, it can be overwhelming, and there is, you know, as Aaron said, different people calling to your doors, maybe giving you conflicting advice, so it is always good to get independent advice. And I'm sure, Aaron, you're going to be here for a while as well if people want to talk to you, but definitely check out the website and everything. So we're a minute ahead of schedule, I think, are we? That's great. So next up, where is he? Benny. Benny, here we are. I see him. Yeah, so next up we have Benny McDonough, and Benny is teaching in UL in the area of sustainable energy. He's Kilkenny based, but he did live in Longford, so he tells me, so we have to say welcome back to Longford, Benny.
Thank you.
And I'll let you introduce yourself further. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? How's my voice at the moment? So my name is Benny McDonough. I used to live in Longford in the 80s and go up to Amos a few times. Just lived around the corner, lovely spot. I worked out in Newtown Forge for a while and all over Leitrim and Longford. So now I'm living in Kilkenny for the last while, but I have a Galway flag on the gate just to keep them all a bit happy. And I work for the Technological University of the Shannon, which is Tooth, based in Thurles. I'm also got an LEA for Piltown, Kilkenny, going for election next year. We're currently involved in a lot of renewable energy projects and training in Tooth. We teach some of the one-stop shops, we teach some engineers. We also are getting transition year students to go out and look at NZ, which is nearly zero energy building fundamental centres. Okay, sorry.
Keep the mic
closer. Sorry, is that better? Sorry about that. So we're involved in sustainability in our university. We're looking at kind of traditional buildings and sustainable materials, renewable energy. I was off the grid myself for 8 years with a windmill and some solar panels. Sorry. Have I done something? Okay. Is that too loud? Oh, that sounds. So I was off the grid myself for 8 years with a windmill and solar panels, batteries. It was an interesting experiment, but I ended up getting on the grid. I now own a passive house, and I'm a passive house designer. So we're looking at the moment of enabling the citizens and the people to be able to renovate, retrofit and reduce the use of their buildings. We're actually in discussions, this might be unofficial, with the SEI where we'll bring the grant to 50%, not up to 50%, and then there's a green energy loan that's coming in to bring it in a really, really low interest rate so people can afford to renovate and retrofit their houses. Also, if people can't afford that over 50%, we're looking at maybe getting the grant a sliding scale that will fund people a higher percentage of 50%, but to keep it that the money goes to the people and that they can afford to reduce the use of their houses. The other big thing that's coming down the line in Europe, we know, is the internal air quality, mold and dampness. That's another thing that has to be kind of taken out of houses. So I was have 6 kilowatts of solar panels on the roof and a 1.5 kilowatt wind turbine, which is giving me about 6,000 to 8,000 kilowatt hours a year. Now what people need to know also, when heat pumps go in and EVs go in, that increases the amount of electricity that's being used in the house. I use about 12,000 kilowatt hours a year for my EV, but it's still costing me less than if it was a diesel or a petrol car. So I'm reducing my emissions and reducing my cost. I have honey up there, which is locally produced, and apples if anybody wants it. The apples are organic, made by a local farmer up the road, and he also has about 200 hives, and he brought 20 up to my house, so we're producing local produce. Also, the thing I feel in the future is local and sustainability and self-sufficiency for our state, country is going to be the future, because I think with climate change there's big food issues going to come down the line, there's big energy issues coming down the line. So self-sufficiency and sustainability is going to make the place better for people. It will mean the money stays locally, circulates within the local economy, and improves everything for everybody. So that's my kind of big picture. I suppose with the election, also not pointing fingers and kicking people. The whole idea for climate action, sustainability, making this planet better is put our arms around together and go together. Don't be giving out to people, help them. Agriculture, travel, all these different areas, but everybody working together to make the world a better place for my descendants. Another thing I suppose I just saw one morning before I stopped is anaerobic digestion. We're looking at the idea slurry will not be put onto land anymore because it is causing pollution and it is causing issues with waterways and water quality. And we've done some studies with a few people. If we use a lot of the waste foods that can be composted and slurry, we could reduce our nitrogen inputs into the ground by 80%. It also means we create biogas, we reduce our carbon footprint. So there's so many solutions out there that we have, but we need to work together on them. Yeah. Is that okay?
Thank you so much, Brennan. I'm just conscious. I think people can ask questions at this stage to Benny, because Benny was telling me about how he generates energy and share it to people. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, thank you.
Sorry, I forgot about that important bit, which is peer-to-peer trading as well. We're actually allowed to do it in the EU, but we're not doing it so much in Ireland at the moment. Peer-to-peer trading is, if I'm generating excess electricity, I can sell it to my neighbour, my farmer, or virtually sell it to a poor person or donate it. What we're actually trying to create at the moment is a donation system. But if I put 200 kilowatts onto the grid in a month, I can give that virtually to someone in Mayo, someone in Longford, or someone any in the country, give it to them, and they have to, then the utility can be instructed to take it off their bill. So I could sell it to them for 20 cents rather than 40 or donate it. My feeling is I don't need the 800-900 quid a year because I spend more than that on coffee. So I'd rather give that electricity to people free and help people, because lots of people are struggling nowadays. I find that a bit painful. I would like to help people out. You know, we give away even some food, we give away some materials. We like to help everybody, and that's the way we're going to work, is everybody working together, you know. Also, the other big one is we're trying to aggregate, which is, say, all 200 houses all have batteries, they're all connected onto the grid, and if the grid gets under pressure or people want to buy or sell them out, but I say, I only need 1 kilowatt left in my battery for tonight, you can take 20. So they can take that donate it or sell it or whatever, so that's peer-to-peer trading. The other big one, I was talking to myself about that, and I'm not quite remembering his name, but we're talking about where we connect all the cars to the grid. They're all massive batteries, and if I say I only need 5 kilowatts or I only need to do 30 miles, they can take all that energy out of my battery and give it to someone, donate it to someone, reduce the load on the grid. Another one I want to try out now, I'm in discussions with Nissan at the moment where we can get the vehicles grid enabled in Ireland. Is that my friend in Kilkenny, a bit poor, can't always heat her house with the heat pump. I'd love to drive my car in there, plug it into her house and give her 20 kilowatts and let her heat her house for free. I would love to. So every car could be like a donation of energy to people as well. There's so much we can do. I do go off on this probably because I'm on the telly, I live in Longford, so I think too much. So there's a lot of potential out there that we have to do with each other. If we all are working together, like community energy as well, I believe should be prioritised more than hedge funds making money and us paying all that money going out of the country. I also think we should own all the offshore wind. The state should own it. That would mean the money circulates. We would set up loads of businesses, give all the contracts to the installers, but we would own that energy money and it would circulate in the economy and we would give it to few poor people in the future. In some countries at the moment where there's excess renewable energy, they actually turn on people's heat pumps for free. They charge their batteries or they turn on their electric panels. So we could donate rather than always looking for money, because it's not the answer. Donor economics is the thing. Sorry, I took a while up. Is that okay?
Thank you so much, Bernie. And I think before we go to the young Erasmus students, who I call climate heroes, because it's so good to see young people getting into, trying to do their best for the environment as well. So, it's such a privilege to have them here today. But before that, I think it's a good time as well for people to just ask questions if they have any questions before we go into that, so that it can be a little bit more interactive than just having people talk to you all the time. So if there's any question in the audience you want to ask, even in any area, transport, whatever area that you feel you want to ask, and we can get one of the speakers to answer that if possible. And I'll just wait a few minutes and see if someone has a question. And if you do, just raise up your hand and I'll come to you with the mic. Thank you.
I was asked 2 questions. One related to ground-mounted.
One related to ground-mounted systems, in other words, where you put the solar panels on the ground. That's not a problem. If you've got plenty of space outside, again, you've got to make sure that the orientation of the panels is more or less straight. It's actually easier with ground-mounted to have your orientation facing south, or even 25 degrees either way of south. But it also is such that that if you're farming, obviously it has a great benefit. The only thing is that you do need to isolate the panels. Sheep are no problem, but cattle can be a bit of a problem in terms of mooching around the panels. And you need to be such a distance from buildings. If you have a domestic house or if you have sheds or whatever, that they cannot cause shadow on the panels. So they need to be that far away or back from the actual buildings. But again, a site survey will clearly indicate that. There's even software now that predicts the amount of light that you get depending on the type of year by postcode. It's quite amazing, it's just unbelievable. So, and it's kind of really sophisticated CAD/CAM graphics, and it's just brilliant. Okay.
transportation. I commute from Mullingar to Longford, and I found that going to Dublin, which is farther from me, Mullingar, it's easier and cheaper. I get a return ticket for 15 euros. But coming to Longford, I get to pay 40 euro one way, 40 euro going back. They now say you need to go online to get a return ticket. You can't get a return ticket from the bus. But you can do that if you're going to Dublin. You can just pay your return when you get on the bus. So for coming to Longford, unless you go online and you buy a return ticket, which is also more expensive than even buying the ticket going to Dublin. And I think that when you guys quite close here, it's within the same Longford Westmead, and there should be a way for us to have like a local link, because we have local links, we have to close. There are buses from going to Drogheda now and Dundalk, but I don't know what's happening in Longford, which is just about 40 minutes. So I think if something can be done, I don't know if I'm speaking the wrong forum or in the right place, but I hope that someone can take it up somehow. Thank you.
Thinking in the right place, thank you. Will I give you first and then
I'll speak first, and I might ask Kate to say a few words as well. Look, you know, I suppose since the Greens got into government in 2019, one of the things that we are really proud of is that there has been in rural Ireland and in places like Mullingar, where I'm based, there has been an enormous increase in services, and that has to be acknowledged and has to be said. So there's towns like Killucan, Raharney, Castletown, you know, towns that have no bus service, and there's now 10 or more buses going through them in each direction. But there are obviously places, there are, you know, still black spots, and they're not seeing the benefits yet. And what I would say that if you want more buses and if you want more increase in services, you know, a lot has been done, but it's only the beginning. We need to make sure that we do get green voices in government to kind of continue on the work that we've done. In terms of the pricing, is that an expressway bus or is it a bus air and bus?
Just the express one.
Yeah, yeah. I know that some of the... Sorry, that? No. There's no local link, yeah. Yeah, look at you know, there's no doubt about it. The number of buses that have come on stream, it's good. A lot of communities are really benefiting, but there's a lot of communities. I know, and somebody else pointed out, I have a good friend from Lochrain, County Galway, and every time we speak, she's giving out, because Lochrain has seen really no improvement in services for the last few years as well. So there's definitely an awful lot more that needs to be done on that front. I do know that there's some of the, so the Greens have got in a 20% reduction in fares for adults and 50% for students, but I think some of the expressway fares are not reduced at all, so there is still anomalies on that front as well. But if you wanted to give that particular pricing anomaly, if you want to give that information to Cathering, we will kind of follow up and see, you know, if there is something there that is just out of kilter, and we can see. I'm not making any promises, but we can have a look certainly at it. So just like Hazel, this is, sorry, I'm just going to introduce Councillor Hazel Smith, who is our Green Party Councillor in Mullingar, Kinnegad, LEA.
Hi, great points, and I actually chair the Transport and Planning SCC, Strategic Policy Committee for Westmeath Next Council, and yeah, I'm a Green Party Councillor there in Mullingar. So as Michelle said, you know, things have definitely come a long way, I think. It's fair to say in terms of there has been a definite increase. I know I've had people say to me they haven't seen as many buses around, you know, as there is right now, which is great, but you're right, there definitely does seem to be still room for improvement, for sure there. And I think the reductions in fares, because you're right, I think if you book online now, you can get to Dublin for €8 on the train, which is, you know, which is amazing. And you can see the demand is there. People want to do the right thing, I think, and like reduce their carbon footprint and take the bus or take the train rather than driving, which is great to see. And I think, you know, we should be doing everything we can to encourage that more. But it is a case of, you know, it does need to be frequent, convenient for people, and reliable, I think, more than anything. So we actually have a meeting coming up next week with Irish Rail, the National Transport Authority, and Cathering in Westmeath. So I'm really glad you brought this to my attention today, because it's certainly something I can raise there at that meeting, and that we should be facilitating this better for people. And so the 115, I think, is that the bus that you're talking about that goes from Mullingar to Longford? I'm pretty sure the 115 bus does go, and should go fairly frequently between Mullingar and Longford. And then there's the train service as well. Which bus do you take?
No, 15 is Dublin to Mullingar.
Oh, sorry. What's the number of bus that you take from?
22 and
22.
And 22 doesn't go back into Mullingar, it goes on there. It only comes to Longford to Mullingar.
Okay.
But 23 comes in and goes,
Yeah, goes back again.
both ways, yeah.
Okay. Well, again, like that, if you can, when you're contacting Cathering, if you could loop me into that as well, and just to point out that anomaly, that there does need to be that address in terms of the fares, and then, if there's any other issues there with it, just flag it to us. It is a case of, a lot of time we do rely on the feedback from people as to, what the issues are there, and it is something that I know is a big priority for the Green Party, for Minister and right, for everybody to try and encourage and support people who do want to take the bus to be able to do that. So thank you for flagging this, and yeah, it's certainly something we can bring up again.
Thank you so much, Councillor Sue, and thank you, Cecilia, for that good question as well. And I think we're very good with time, and the next will be the Erasmus students from Europe. So you're up next. Thank you.
Just from Turkey.
So we are all European volunteers, and we are here volunteering thanks to the European Solidarity Corps. The European Solidarity Corps is an Erasmus Plus program funded by the EU, and it gives the opportunity to young people between 18 and 30 to spend a period volunteering for some organizations abroad. There are two different types of volunteering. There are short-term volunteering and long-term volunteering, and young volunteers can choose to do maybe first a short-term volunteering experience and then a long-term volunteering experience. And usually the organization that hosts volunteers are always involved in environment, global citizenship, the promoting of democracy in youth. So it's really a good experience because young people can get to know a new culture while still doing something for making a better future. And at the moment in GAI we send a lot of local volunteers to our partner organizations in Spain and Greece. We have a very successful program based in Greece with our partner organization called Orpheus. And in the last few months, we sent 6 Irish volunteers there for 2 months, and they had a chance to help the organization with keeping the forest clean, preventing fires there, painting schools, preparing care package for families in need, and collaborating in organizing local festivals. So it was a really great experience, and we had really positive feedback when they came back home. And so ESC is a really good opportunity for young people. And now
so that was a part of the ESC and Erasmus program. For the organization itself, we're going to introduce Alliance of Ireland and Dainagara. organization wasn't an organization at the start. There was a movement against fracking. So from 2012 to 2017, the movement was fighting against fracking in Ireland. In 2017, it was banned, so they won. We weren't there yet. We've been here for not that long. And since then, the organization decided to open to other subjects like renewable energies, biodiversity, working with schools. And since then, we have for the last 10 years, other volunteers that came in the organization every year and worked on those topics. It could be surveys in cities, for example. There has been surveys in Manor, Hamilton, and Boyle to work on the energy consumption in the city. We had a Koga report, which is one of our most important reports. It's the energy consumption in County Leitrim, and the past volunteers went really deep in the subject. To give you an idea, when I was looking into it, they went to count the number of limousines in County Leitrim just to add them to the transport. So they really went into it. And the last project was the biodiversity report. That's more like a report and a survey on the area around Ballymaglera, so it's also where we are. And we called biologists from Sligo to work on biodiversity in the area and to just check what kind of plants and animal we could find and to have an idea of the state of biodiversity in the area. So we have talked with the community, we have a lot of work with that with the community, with schools, and the idea is to keep going, to keep working on all those topics because they all work for the same things essentially, as a goal. So that's for the organization.
Environmental movement that we are to protect our climate. So I'm just going to take some selfie pictures with the young people here. If there's any young person in the audience, please just come over now and we just do a little picture with the young people.
Can I just make a comment? That is, these young people are part of 40 to 50 people that we've had as volunteers in Leitrim over the past 10 years. And the program that they talk about, or the research, is called Piroga, and it's the first carbon audit of a county in Ireland in terms of the carbon inputs and the carbon outputs. So these guys did all of this, and they're to be congratulated. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to mention, but as an environmental NGO, we're not political, so we cannot take pictures with, like we can compete like this, but we try to also respect this, of course. So, thank you for listening.
The next thing on the agenda is the speakers panel. So we will just have all the speakers here, and if anyone just want to join them as well, if you have any expertise that you want to share, you can join, and there'll be a chance for people to just interact. Just say whatever you want at this stage and have discussion and just ask questions. Thank you.
Do you have a card?